I was born in New York, lived there till I was about 8 years old, and then we moved to Central Florida, specifically Spring Hill, Florida. Lived in Spring Hill until I went to college at the University of South Florida, studied finance, and initially when I went to school I was actually studying accounting, but ended up changing to a finance major later. Several years, many years later, about 10 years later, met my wife, Amy, and we have a wonderful 2.5-year-old little boy, and his name is Braden. Well, as I had mentioned earlier, when I went to the University of South Florida, initially I was an accounting major, and as I got further and further into the coursework, I felt as if accounting wasn't going to be enough of a people business for me. I like people, and I was afraid I was going to end up just crunching numbers behind a closed door and maybe seeing clients once a year every April to give them bad news. So I ended up changing and going the personal financial planning route, and was able to get a BS in finance from the University of South Florida. What I'm finding is that a lot of people that I talk with are ultimately just wanting to make sure of two things. One, that they don't run out of money, and two, that they can sleep well at night. Retirement's changed so much just in the 15 years that I've been in the business, and I should say retirement planning. When I'd first gotten into the business, many of the people that I met with had pensions from their employer. And over the last several years, the last couple of decades, that's really changed. More and more retirees don't have a pension from their former employer. Social Security is just not as steady as it used to be, with inflation adjustments not being what they once were, and even a couple of years ago having no inflation adjustments. So a lot of people I meet with, their first and primary concern is, where am I going to get income from in retirement? And is it going to be steady? Is it going to be predictable? And that's one of the things we're able to help people with. Another concern that many of the people that I meet with have got is just the volatility of the stock market. They don't want to feel the need that they need to go back to work after being retired. So these are some of the things that we help people with, and we have a process that we use to make sure that we can create a guaranteed income stream for our clients and also make sure that they can sleep well at night. You know, a lot of people, in my opinion, incorrectly handle retirement planning the same way that they handled the accumulation phase of the financial life cycle. When people are working, they're consistently making contributions to their retirement plan, and in many instances they don't look at it. The market goes up, the market goes down, and they don't worry about it because they're just constantly adding money to that plan. Once an individual is retired, the name of the game changes. While an individual is working, it's all about accumulation. But once an individual retires, financial planning is about effective distribution. And I think too many people fail to realize that. There's a lot of financial advisors out there that don't think about that. So again, one of the things that we do is we make sure that our clients have a plan. We have a series of tools that we use to make sure that we are creating predictable income for them and also making sure that they can sleep well at night. I'd have to say it's the relationships, especially some of the relationships are starting to become second-generation relationships where my client has introduced me to their children. You know, the field of financial planning is, it can be such an intimate thing. You're talking about something that's very, very important to an individual, and in many instances helping people avoid some of their greatest fears. Apart from maybe public speaking or death, many instances greatest fears involve money, running out of money, not having enough. And being able to help people avoid that fear, that concern, is really, really rewarding. So I'd say those, I guess there's a two-part answer there, the relationships and also being able to help people accomplish a goal, and not just any goal, a goal that's so important. So if somebody'd like to contact us, they can either call or email and set up a time to sit down and talk. The process is really, really laid back. In many instances, the first meeting is just a lot of me listening to what the person is trying to accomplish, what their concerns are, and me taking a lot of notes. And from there, there's typically additional meetings that need to be scheduled. We don't really do anything on that first meeting. Between the first and the second meeting, there's a lot of number crunching and putting together some strategies to help an individual accomplish whatever the concerns or accomplish whatever the goals were they communicated to me during that first meeting. And then during that second meeting, we talk about the strategies and the ideas that I came up with. Sometimes we end up tweaking them, and it's not until a third or a fourth meeting, in many instances, that we implement a strategy and then determine how frequently we need to meet to continually monitor the plan.